everybody. What an interesting week of sports it's been. England cruised to an 8-wicket victory over Australia in the Ashes, and they now lead the series 2-1. And I have Ayaz Memon with me on the Sportscast to discuss everything about it. Ayaz, what happened in that match? What an interesting match.
I think it's been a terrific series.
Yeah.
You look at the way the series has gone. First test England win, then the second test Australia thumped them, and then they come back so strongly, England. So look, I think this English team is playing superb cricket. They've surprised even somebody like me. I thought this would be actually a done deal for Australia when the series started. But in these conditions, I think Australia, to start with, a little casual, perhaps taking victory for granted, and then they find themselves at the deep end and they're struggling to stay afloat. So they've got serious problems. I think it stems from the poor form of Michael Clarke. When the captain is so woefully short of runs, then players in the dressing room start asking, should he be in the team? When that sets in, then there's a problem. So I think Michael Clarke really needs to get some runs soon enough. And of course, Mitchell Johnson is not looking quite the same bowler that he was
he's
about.
He's not been as effective as they would have wanted.
The psychological dread of Mitchell Johnson seems to have been dispelled, and that I think has been a huge factor.
And they had the momentum coming from the second test. It looked like they'd finally
figured out. They won the toss in the third.
Yeah.
They chose to bat.
And we've been talking about how everybody who's batted first, any team that's batted first has gone on to win. But
yeah, but if you get bowled out for 136, I mean, this match could conceivably have got over in 2 days, which is unthinkable. Because Australia, on paper, are still a formidable team.
Yeah. And for England, Stephen Finn, what an innings he had, like career best figures.
I mean, look, this guy, he was a discard.
Yeah, exactly.
And he got a lifeline. He's made superb use of that lifeline, because now it'll be very difficult to throw him out of the team for anybody. Any English aspirant, fast bowling aspirant is going to struggle. Stephen Finn has certain inherent advantages. He's a tall guy, he bowls quick, he gets a lot of bounce off the pitch, even on the deadest of pitches. His problem, I think, was self-belief. Now he's obviously older. He's taken a few blows in his career and he's come back mentally tougher and therefore bowled much better. And I think he could, with James Anderson now looking like he's kind of going to slow down. He's approaching his mid-30s.
And he's not available for the fourth test.
He's had a side strain. So it'll be Finn and Broad as the two prongs, major prongs, and then of course the support bowlers. But I think Stephen Finn is going to be a danger man for Australia.
And what do you predict for the fourth test going forward? Like, what do you think?
It would be foolish to predict in this series because it's been going like a yo-yo. Yeah, it's a very topsy-turvy series. But I still feel Australia have the wherewithal to come back very strongly, perhaps even win the Ashes. But for that, of course, they have to win the fourth test.
Next two tests, so fourth and the fifth.
I keep saying, keep coming back to Michael Clarke. I think that unless you have the captain, doing something to show that he belongs in the middle. He's dropped a few catches. He's not made any runs. He seems to have become a bunny for the fast bowler. So
and it's showing.
It's showing.
The lack of confidence is clearly showing.
It is showing, and therefore the batting is in disarray. It's not so much the bowling; it's the batting which is in disarray.
Yeah. So do you think it's the end is nigh for Michael Clarke?
It could be. I mean, if the series is lost and he's not made runs, he's had a chronic back problem over the past 4 or 5 years, and Steve Smith, as we know, is ripe to take over as the captain. He's also a man in form, so it could be. I think he's skating on thin ice, Michael Clarke.
Yeah, but he'll stick for the Ashes.
Oh yeah. I don't think they'll change the captain unless he opts out himself, which may be very difficult. It's very difficult to just kind of give up.
But it's made for a very interesting series so far. We've got a result every match.
It's absolutely fascinating. In fact, Nikhila, what's been happening in cricket is remarkable.
Yeah.
Because Pakistan went to Sri Lanka and beat Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka. England, against all odds, look like they might get the better of Australia, and so on and so forth. So whoever says that Test cricket is not exciting is really not following the sport. I think that Test cricket needs to be ramped up in its profile, in its messaging. I think there's a whole world of people, universe of people who follow Test cricket, maybe online, maybe through newspapers, because 5 days to spend is not easy. But the charm of Test cricket is still there.
What, when they get out so easy, it doesn't even last 5 days? So
it doesn't last 5 days. So maybe there's a case for making Test matches into 4 days.
Is that what you're pitching for? Do you think that's...
Well, I've written about it.
Yeah, I know, I've read about it.
Yeah, so I think they should increase the number of overs per day, maybe 100, 105. and have a 4-day test match which starts on Thursday. So you get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you end on Sunday night, because now you're going to have night test cricket.
Yeah,
they're experimenting
that's what
this
they're starting
year with the pink ball.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the way to go.
So fascinating times ahead, like fascinating for the sport and really interesting to watch and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, a diehard like me would go and watch it in any case.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, yes, I think for the wide audience at large, I think night test cricket played over the weekends is going to be a big boon.
Big boon, yeah. Okay, so Australian cricket, England cricket we've talked about. Let's just come to Indian cricket. What's been happening? Tell us. What is
never
this?
short of action. So.
Yeah, we always have something to talk about Indian cricket.
Yeah, so the team is, I mean, the fact that we're going to Sri Lanka, the cricketing aspect, and we hope to do well.
Yeah.
Sri Lanka also a little bit in the remodeling their team. This is a send-off series for Kumar Sangakkara, so this is going to be, he's going to be, you know, in the spotlight. But I think Virat Kohli, young man, has a job on hand, and especially where the spinners are concerned, because the Indian spin bowlers haven't done well. Even the India A team, which played against Australia and got licked by Australia in Chennai on a turning track, didn't show up the Indian team too well. The bench strength.
Yeah.
So he's got Harbhajan Singh, Amit Mishra, and R. Ashwin. He'll be looking at these bowlers to get him wickets. Let's see if they deliver.
And what about the conflict of interest, the clearance that they've been asked to sign right now? BCCI just sent out notices.
Yeah, I don't look. There are two notices that have been sent out. One is to the State Association office bearers that they have to declare that they have no conflict of interest, which I understand, because you look at what happened with N. Srinivasan, because he could buy a team, and which the BCCI had allowed. The other is now the players are getting involved, but I'm not understanding what exactly do they want. So if Rahul Dravid, who's the under-19 coach, is also mentor of Rajasthan Royals, why should that be conflict of interest?
Even Tendulkar, you know.
Or Tendulkar for Mumbai Indians, and he's on the advisory panel. Why should that be conflict of interest? So and I seriously feel that might be actually bad in law, because you can't stop cricketers from plying their trade. You can't stop me from writing or doing commentary.
Yeah.
You know. That can't be conflict of interest.
Yeah.
So I think that there is some issue there.
But they're trying to clean up the sport. That's what they're
yeah, but you can't do it in a ham-handed way. What I'm saying is the intention may be right, but the
way they're going
methods,
about it,
the methods, they need to be clear.
Okay, so that's Indian cricket, and a fascinating story there always.
Yeah.
But we had some great news in squash also this time. Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yeah.
Come on.
So Joshna Chinappa, she just won her 10th title, and she defeated the second seed, which was huge for her because she lost to the same player the week before.
Yeah.
And great preparation going into the Australian Open, which is played at the same arena. It was a very convincing win for her, straight sets in 42 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, she's been around for a while.
Yeah, and she just won the national championship.
She just won the national championship. So
that was a great confidence booster for her. What do you make of her?
No, I think she's a highly, skilled player, obviously, and she's been around, as I mentioned, for a while. She's been nudging the top ranked players hard, trying to get into a higher ranking and stuff like that. Squash, because of the pace at which it is played, takes a heavy toll of your body.
Yeah.
So the careers are very short, at the top. I think that perhaps this was her best chance, or these are her best years.
Especially considering her last title came in April last year.
So,
and now, this
maybe
was
a year and a half, maybe 2 years is what she should aim for to maximize her achievements.
And it's so good, she's she gets squash back in the spotlight, as all other stars have been doing for badminton and tennis. It's a good boost for Indian sport all around, I think.
Yes, and I think, look, squash worldwide has taken a bit of a bashing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people believe that it's not a great sport on television. Unfortunately, I played a bit of squash myself till my knees gave in. So it's a terrific sport. It's excruciatingly demanding. And as I mentioned, takes its toll. But there is no other sport which can give you such an adrenaline rush. When you play it, you know what it means. Even at my pace, when I played it, I felt like, my God, it was something else. So it's a great sport, and maybe the administration across the world, not just in India, needs to do something to popularize the sport more. Okay,
so from squash, let's just take a huge leap to archery.
Yes.
The World Archery Championships have been won, and India did a really good job at it. And so our Indian of the week is one of the archers who's won this weekend, and it's Rajat Chauhan, who's won India's first individual medal at the World Archery Championships. He's 20-year-old from Rajasthan.
Yes.
And what a tournament he's had. He's won medals in the Asian Games, obviously he's won medals before. but to win first individual medal for India.
It's a terrific achievement. And in fact, I feel this could be the forerunner of more achievements by Indian archers, because archery as a sport in India is actually fairly highly evolved. We've had our archers pretty much, you know, in the upper echelons without quite going and winning the medals when it mattered. So for instance, in the Olympics and stuff like that, we've kind of faltered. But it doesn't mean that there is no talent. In fact, there is abundant talent.
Yeah, I think India's
is, you know, at that level, the difference is in the mindset.
Yeah, and he just missed out in the final. Like, he was playing the home favorite, but it was such a closely contested final.
So this could be a breakthrough achievement, because it becomes like a demonstration effect on other archers, and they start believing in themselves, saying, hey, if he could do it, even we can.
And we're just a year away from the Olympics.
We're just a year away from the Olympics.
That's great. And not just Rajat Chauhan, the Indian women's team also won the silver medal.
Yes, the women's team has actually been doing better
they
than
have.
the men's.
Yeah, and obviously because she was former world #1, and she's again won. She won last time 2011. Again, she's come back.
And she want to atone for her lapses in London Olympics. So, you know, Rio gives her another chance.
Yeah, and the team kind of, you know, rallied against her. You could see that she was the one. She was the anchor. She would go rescue them, score a 10.
Correct.
And then, you know, they would...
And she's also that much more experienced. And I think, you know, where serious competition is concerned, it makes a big difference when you've got some memories of what you've done earlier, what you've done right and what you've done wrong. So I think Deepika is going to be somebody to watch out for very seriously.
So that was a great week for Indian sports, where we've done well in archery, squash, and we have cricket to look forward to.
Yes.
But what I'm looking forward to, Ayaz, is football. The Premier League, English Premier League is
which
back.
is your team?
So, well...
Whose t-shirt do you wear when you watch the match?
I'm a United supporter. I'm a Manchester United supporter. Yeah, but it's been a very interesting transfer season. There have been some amazing transfers that have happened, and it's just set. This Saturday, it's just set to start off again.
Yeah.
Weekends are relevant again for me. And there's no football. It feels... So,
and it overlaps with the ISL.
It does.
So you'll have a week-long football diet of football. But in my house, it's like a three-way thing. You know, my daughter is a die-hard Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
And my son is a Manchester United fan. And I am a Chelsea fan.
You're a Chelsea fan?
I'm a Chelsea fan.
So we did a poll with our audience, and to just find out who do they think, considering the transfer that have happened so far, who do they think are best placed, and majority have gone for Chelsea. They still believe that Chelsea, despite not signing anyone big, they've lost Cech, and they've lost Drogba. They've not made a striker signing.
And Drogba is not coming to India.
Yeah. So, and they're relying on Falcao, which is surprising, because he didn't have a good season for United at all.
Who's their manager?
Mourinho. So
I think that's a lot of people believe that he could be actually the key player, so to speak, in the entire season. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. So you who are you placing your bets on? I'm assuming you're thinking Chelsea.
Yes.
I just feel that Arsenal, on paper at least, they've done a brilliant job. They've reinforced what they wanted to.
Yeah.
And end of last season, they were in tremendous form.
Correct. They were.
Yeah.
I think the top 6 teams or 7 teams is generally where the competition kind of, you know.
But I think the pressure is really on the 2 Manchester clubs.
Yes.
Because Louis van Gaal has to show up this season. Last season was his trial season.
He's the man who's going to be under a lot of scrutiny. Yeah. You know, and if they don't kind of make the cut this time, then his career could be in jeopardy.
Yeah, well, I think he's ending his career, so he'd want to end on a high
note,
you know?
Exactly.
And he's gone out and splashed money. Schweinsteiger, Schneiderlin, he's just gone there and he's like, I want these players and I want to win with them. So that's what he's done.
So he's also got a lot of money to dig into. So one of the biggest clubs in the world.
City is surprising, because they look like they'd be the club that would contest for the title.
If you look at it over the last maybe 2 seasons, City have made such rapid strides.
Yeah.
You know, they've become actually the team to beat.
Yeah.
So while the more popular, the more marquee team is Manchester United, it's actually City, which has done superbly.
But they're under the scanner as well.
They're under the scanner as well.
You know, rumors of Guardiola coming over next season, never really good thing for a club manager to think that he's on the axe constantly. So Pellegrini has his hands full right now, I believe.
Yeah, but I think they kind of steal themselves. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but you know, the way the EPL plays out as a tournament, a lot of them live life on the edge.
Yeah.
From the players to the managers. So I'm sure that this is something that they're used to.
So that's starting this weekend. Really interesting fixtures. I think the fixture to watch out for is on Saturday, which is Manchester United versus Tottenham. and we'll be tracking all those matches and everything else that happens in the sporting world. So join us next week at 5 p.m. on the Sportscast with Ayaz Memon. Thank you.
Thank you.